Hey, what's up, everybody? Jay here again with another video for you. First, I just want to start off by saying Happy New Year's to everybody, and I hope this year is starting off great for you guys as well. Okay, right now I just want to do a video. Actually, this is going to be part one of maybe the three or four, depending on how quickly I can get through them. At first, this video was originally going to be about my top 10 horror movies that I have in my collection, but going through them and everything, I couldn't just decide on 10. So I decided I'm going to just share with you guys my whole horror movie collection. So I just want to start off here, and I'm going to go in order from basically A to Z with them. And first up, we're going to have here is Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later. See that one there? 28 Days Later. Got that. Next up was the first of a four-part series and has a excuse me, has a two spin-off type sequels to it as well. That being the original here, Alien. Sorry about that glare. Directed by Ridley Scott. The first one starring Sigourney Weaver. Next up, can't have Alien without having Aliens. See that? Without the glare. Here it is. Aliens. Aliens also starring Sigourney Weaver again. This time directed by Jim Cameron, co-starring Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton. Next up, my favorite of them, and I know a lot of people really don't like this one of it, but it is Alien 3. Like I said, this is my favorite of the four. Don't know why. I mean, well, I do know why. It's basically because of the assembly cut. I like the assembly cut a lot better than the theatrical cut. It's also directed by David Fincher, co-starred Charles Dance and Charles Dutton. Moving right along. I don't have part four, Alien Resurrection, but anyway, moving right along. Uh, the remake of Black Christmas, and I'm surprised that I do have quite a few remakes. This being one of the many that I have. So Black Christmas, here it is. Next up, another kind of 80s horror classic, in my opinion. That being 1988's remake, The Blob, starring Shawnee Smith of Saw fame and Kevin Dillon of Entourage fame. There it is, The Blob. Next up, Eli Ross, Cabin Fever. There it is, written and directed by Eli Roth. There it is, starring Ryder Strong, Jordan Ladd, just to name a few. Next up, another second remake is the third, yeah, the second, third remake. Sorry, third remake making his appearance here. The Crazies, starring Timothy Olyphant, Joe Anderson, and Rhoda Mitchell. Next up, good vampire flick right here, Daybreakers. See if we can get it without the glare. See that there? There it is. Daybreakers, starring, yeah, matter of fact, sorry, stars Ethan Hawke, William Dafoe, and Sam Neill. Moving right along, the original Dawn of the Dead. I always like this cover art on the case. I always love that. Dawn of the Dead. Moving right along, got Dawn of the Dead the original. Also a big fan of Dawn of the Dead the remake. Didn't realize that this was the full screen version too. Not really a big deal, but whatever. I mean, it stars Sarah Polley, Ving Rhames, Mekhi Phifer, and directed by Zack Snyder. Written by James Gunn, by the way. And then here is also my second favorite of the original Dead movies, Day of the Dead, which starred Laurie Cardinale and Joe Pilato. And it was also, like I said, once again, written and directed by George A. Romero. Moving right along here. Uh, Dead Alive, written and directed by, well, I don't know if it was written by, but I know it was directed. Was it written? Yes, it was co-written and directed by Peter Jackson. This was one of his earlier movies. If you haven't seen anything else by, I mean, if you just know him from his Lord of the Ring films, I should highly recommend going back and checking out some of the earlier ones, and this being one of them, Dead Alive. Also have another earlier Peter Jackson movie going to be coming up shortly as well, and that's another we should check out too. But we'll talk about when we get there. Moving right along, this is a B movie at its best, well, at its worst, depending on how you look at it. And that's Death by Temptation, which stars Kadeem Hardison from A Different World and Samuel L. Jackson, who, even though he's on the cover here, he only has like a glorified cameo. I say maybe 5 minutes he has on screen or whatever. But if you like these kind of B movie types, I highly recommend checking it out. So there it is, Death by Temptation. Moving right along, here is the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. There it is right there. Starring Sig Haig in the middle, Bill Moseley, and Sherry Moon Zombie, written and directed by Rob Zombie. If you like Rob Zombie films, I highly recommend checking that one out. Moving right along, here it is, Diary of the Dead, George A. Romero's Diary of the Dead, written and directed by as well. Good little entry into his Dead series. Talked about in my George A. Romero Dead series compilation. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. There's talk more about those movies as well. Moving right along here. Here is the sequel to Evil Dead 2. It's the only one of the three that I have. I know I should have all three, but for some reason this is the only one I have. I'm planning on getting Evil Dead and Army of Darkness to add to my collection, but this one is the only one I have right now. Directed by Sam Raimi and stars Bruce Campbell. Moving right along here, I'm gonna do all three of these at once. That is basically Feast 1, 2, Sloppy Seconds, and 3, The Happy Finish. If you've seen, if you like these type of movies, monster type movies, I highly recommend checking them out. I mean, the first one is the best one of the group, but all three are worth watching if you like these type of films. And I'm going to end it right there. That is the end of part one. I'm going to be right back with part two to finish that off, and catch you guys in a second. Peace.